Welcome back to the Explainer. Look, if you're here, you already know the stakes. You're looking to cut through the noise and get straight to the actual mechanics of how modern compliance tech works, and you are in the exact right place. Today, we're going to build a complete AI-powered anti-money laundering and know your customer workflow step by step. We're talking about taking all those messy, real-world onboarding processes and transforming them into a sleek, automated pipeline using agentic AI.
Why are we even talking about this? Well, check out this number, 70%. Right now, banks and fintechs are literally losing billions every single year to poor compliance checks. Your analysts are buried under mountains of PDFs and emails, and those legacy rule engines, they're throwing up to 95% false positives. It's a nightmare. But if we automate this right, and yeah, that is a huge if, we can slash operational compliance costs by up to 70%. That is a massive game changer.
So that brings us to the million-dollar question. How exactly do we build a system that doesn't just speed things up, but is fiercely accurate and, most importantly, perfectly defensible to regulators? We are going to explore the practical blueprint of a modern AI compliance agent today, moving way beyond simple, rigid, rule-based automation.
Here's our architectural blueprint for today's Explainer. We'll quickly cover the compliance bottleneck, then jump into discovery and data collection, AI processing and screening, dynamic risk scoring, the human-in-the-loop review, and wrap up with custom code versus no-code architectures. Let's get into it. All right, Section 1, the compliance bottleneck, redefining the problem. Let's take a quick look at why traditional automation usually just shifts the bottleneck around instead of actually eliminating it. As you know, regulators prescribe a risk-based evaluation across 4 key areas: customer profile screening, anomaly detection in transactions, AML disambiguation, and adverse media tracking. In the past, handling these meant analysts were constantly chasing down missing documents, jumping between a dozen disparate portals, and drowning in ridiculously high false positive rates, especially when it came to sanction screening. There's a really stark contrast to consider here. On one side, we've got what I like to call dumb traditional automation. It's rigid, it relies on hard-coded rules, and honestly, it just generates endless QA exceptions the second it hits an edge case. But on the other side, agentic AI processing. This is totally context-aware. It uses natural language processing to actually understand semantics. That means we're getting continuous risk alignment, not just some static point-in-time checklist. Moving right along to Section 2, discovery and data collection, or as I like to call it, feeding the machine. This is the literal start of our pipeline. Let's see how this builds out our overarching process map. Step 1 is the initial discovery phase. This is where you analyze your specific workflows and compliance policies to really define your risk framework. That seamlessly flows right into Step 2, input collection, where the customer actually submits their data. This tees everything up perfectly for the AI processing and, eventually, the final decision or fallback. Let's make this super concrete. Imagine a theoretical customer, let's call him Jonathan Doe. Our intake system has to seamlessly collect all his diverse data formats without, completely choking. We're talking a PDF passport, a JPEG of a utility bill, a PNG live selfie, CSV transaction logs, and even messy, unstructured text from his emails. The system has to ingest the whole shebang reliably before handing it off to the AI.
Which brings us to Section 3, AI processing and screening. Welcome to the engine room. Once Jonathan's data is ingested, we enter the core brain of our compliance agent.
I want you to visualize this stage like a massive, highly intelligent data tunnel. As Jonathan's files flow through, the system is firing off specific APIs left and right. It's using optical character recognition, or OCR, to pull his name and date of birth right off that passport PDF. It's hitting biometric face match APIs to compare his live selfie against his ID photo. It is literally structuring the unstructured in real time. And here is where the agentic AI truly shines. We're plugging in large language models, think GPT-4o or Google's Gemini, and feeding them highly specific, smart prompts. The AI isn't just reading text, it's acting as a highly capable guardian. It autonomously scans those CSV transaction logs for nuanced red flags. It checks global PEP lists, it monitors adverse media, it actually understands context. Like, it can spot a sketchy withdrawal from a crypto exchange or a massive transfer to a known tax haven and instantly flag it with a confidence score. It's brilliant. But wait, how does the AI actually decide if Jonathan is safe or risky based on all those distinct signals? Well, that brings us to Section 4, dynamic risk scoring, the logic engine.
This is where we map out our explicit if-then programmatic logic to evaluate the AI's outputs. For example, if the face match is over 95% confident and there are absolutely no AML hits, boom, the system dynamically scores him as low risk and auto-sends a welcome email. But what if there's a minor discrepancy, like a slight misspelling on the utility bill? That triggers a medium risk enhanced due diligence or EDD checklist. Now, if there's a sanctions hit or say a sketchy transfer from the Cayman Islands, high risk, full stop. The system instantly escalates that case to a human.
And that escalation brings us directly to Section 5, Human in the Loop Review, the audit trail. This part is absolutely critical, guys, because AI cannot and should not operate entirely without oversight in these highly regulated environments. There was some recent financial research that called compliance a hygiene factor. What does that mean for us? It means explainability isn't just a nice-to-have bonus, it is a non-negotiable prerequisite. Without accuracy and a fully transparent, time-stamped audit trail of every single AI decision, regulators are going to view your system as a massive liability, regardless of how fast it processes applications.
I absolutely love this quote because it hits the nail on the head for our admin dashboard design. If the system can't reconstruct intent later, it hasn't really reduced risk, it's just hidden it. So when Jonathan's case gets escalated, our human reviewer gets a prepackaged, auto-generated case file. No more digging through original PDFs. The AI serves up a crystal-clear summary showing exactly why it flagged the case, the exact logic it used, and leaves a comment box for the reviewer's final decision. This is exactly how you breeze through strict regulatory audits like 6AMLD.
Finally, Section 6, Custom Code versus No Code, Building Your Architecture. How do you practically build this thing for your institution?
You really face a fork in the road here, and it mostly depends on your engineering bandwidth. On one hand, if you've got a powerhouse engineering team, you can custom build your agent. You're looking at a React front end, maybe a Next.js or Fast API backend, and wiring up the Gemini LLM using Google's GenKit for total granular control. On the other hand, if you need to move fast or empower your compliance team directly, you can leverage enterprise-grade no-code platforms like Flow or Stack AI. With visual drag-and-drop builders, or even natural language chat to flow generation, you can deploy SOC 2 compliant API endpoints in a matter of hours. You securely connect your OCR, face match, and LLMs without writing a single line of code. It's pretty wild. So as we wrap up this blueprint today, I want to leave you with a thought to really challenge your own legacy systems. Is your compliance program merely risk-based in name, relying on these static annual checklists? Or is it truly ready to prove continuous, AI-driven risk alignment? By embedding agentic AI as a capable guardian in your workflows, you transform compliance from a costly bottleneck into a serious adaptive advantage. Thanks for hanging out with me on The Explainer today, and keep